Hello, my name is Ashley. In today's lesson, we will cover how to write a professional email. Let's revisit Krista. If you remember correctly, Krista has just moved to Texas with her 2 kids and was looking for a data entry position, which she found at the AdultEdMed hospital. She learned how to write a resume and a cover letter and must have done a pretty good job for both because she was able to get an interview. After the interview, she felt pretty good about how it went, but she heard that there were a lot of other people who applied for the job. Krista wants to stand out, but she's not sure what to do. So she decides to separate herself from the others by writing a follow-up email to the employer. But she's not very comfortable with writing a professional email. Do you know how to write a professional email? Layla Lewis with Be Inspired Public Relations stated, "An email can make or break a potential opportunity for you, so send and respond to them wisely." First, we're going to cover email basics. For some of you, this may be a review, but for others, this might be brand new. You will notice some main features on the email frame that you will likely need to use. The recipient is the person who you are emailing. Their email address will go next to the "to." You will then enter a topic of conversation next to the subject. The middle section is where you will type the body of your email, and then you should have your email signature with your position and contact information. Finally, the bottom bar is where you can find the attachment button so that you can attach files or images. Now we're going to talk about email format and structure. Whether casual or formal, each email should have the same basic structure. You might want to take notes as we go through the steps of composing an email. There are 4 main steps for composing emails. The first step is to greet the recipient. The second step is to provide the recipient with the reason for your email. The third step is to ask your question or state your concern. And the final step is the closing. Let's look at an example of a professional email versus a personal email. The professional email states, "Hi, Mr. Jones, how are you? I hope you are well and that you had a good weekend. I'm writing because I was hoping to review the billable hours from last year. When you get a chance, could you please send them to me? Thank you, Cheryl Adams, Billing Supervisor." In this email, we see the greeting, the reason for the email, the question, and the closing. Now let's look at an example of a personal email. The personal email states, "Hey, what's up? Do you want to meet me at the gym after work today? My shift ends at 4, so let me know by 3:30, okay? I've missed seeing you there, Cheryl." In this email, just like a professional email, we see the greeting, the reason for the email, the question, and the closing. Now we are going to go over email structure and rules. As you can see, the structure of social and professional emails is similar, but the tone is different. One is casual and the other is formal. In a professional email, you should keep the language formal without being too impersonal. Professional emails should be direct, clear, and easy to read. They should also maintain professionalism, so choose your words wisely. Furthermore, they should have an informal to formal tone depending upon audience, subject matter, and other factors. Professional emails should include a brief but descriptive subject line. Be as specific as you can so that the reader knows exactly what the email is about. They should also have at least one recipient and, if needed, an attachment. If you want others to be aware of the conversation, you might want to carbon copy them by adding their names to the second line on the email. Carbon copying allows you to keep others in the loop without expecting them to respond to the email. Professional emails are divided into 3 main parts. The greeting, which needs to be brief but friendly. The body, which is where you include the main point of the email, and the ending, where you will offer a quick farewell. It is important to keep your greeting brief and friendly. Make sure you address the recipient's name, and if you know the recipient, use the first name. If you are not familiar with the recipient or you just want to be more formal, use the person's last name. Hi John or Hi Ms. Anderson are both acceptable greetings. The main point of the email will be written in the body of the email. Make sure to address the main point right away so that no one has to hunt for it. Additionally, keep your email concise and focused on the main point. And if you attach a file, be sure to mention it. Always offer a quick goodbye at the end of the email. You can simply end the email with a closing such as thanks, thank you, or sincerely. Make sure you also provide your name and contact information at the bottom in case your recipient has questions. After you have written your email, always take time to revise it. You want to make sure that you review your professional email by checking the spelling and grammar, as well as the accuracy of facts, links, and attachment. It's always a good idea to read the email out loud. You might find additional errors or find that the email does not have a professional tone. Now let's get started with helping Krista write a professional email. I will walk through the steps for creating a professional email. Please follow along and take notes. Feel free to pause the video at any time or rewind if you need to review information. First, we will enter the email address, bob.randolph@adultmed.com. Next, we will enter the subject. Our subject is interview follow-up. I don't have any reason to copy or blind copy others, so I won't include that in this email. Next, I will create a greeting. Hello, Mr. Randolph. We are going to keep the email formal because Krista just met him and wants to make a good impression. We will then proceed to the body, which is our main point or reason for emailing him. I just wanted to follow up with you on a recent interview we had. I was applying for a data entry position with AdultEdMed and wanted to express my appreciation for you taking the time to meet with me. I am anxious to get started with your company, so please let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you, Krista Smith, 508-555-5555. It is now time to practice writing your own emails. For more information on writing emails, check out the following GCF Learn free tutorials. Sending an email and/or how to write an effective business email. For your guided practice, you will need to complete these steps. You may want to pause the video. Open your email, compose a new email. Address the email to yourself or your teacher. Then, using the guidelines from this lesson, you will type a subject and prepare a professional email. You will create an email inquiring about a job or following up with an employer after an interview. Try adding an attachment like a resume or a picture for practice. Remember, there is no perfect formula for writing emails, but keeping it honest, concise, and real is always a good strategy for effectively communicating with your friends, your teachers, and your next employer.